Laura Dern. Laura Dern.
Laura Dern.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
Hi, cult members. Yeah. So we were watching the red carpet, and Daisy Ridley was telling the story of the first time she met Laura Dern on set, and she walked over. She was like really nervous to meet her, and she just started singing the Jurassic Park as Laura Dern, and we've been doing it for a week and a half now. God, we're nerds.
You have a mouse in your pocket?
It's the royal we, the big. We've been over this. It's a big W.
Mm-hmm.
No. So we have nothing to really talk about this week other than Jumanji. There's been no real news or anything. Nothing came out this last weekend.
No, not at all.
So Jumanji's like a really big deal, and so we're really excited about seeing this. Dwayne Johnson and Karen Gillan and Jack Black and that short little black guy whose name is I don't care. I lie. Something did come out this weekend. We will get into it because outside of the movie itself, which we did a full spoiler review, we'll talk about that in a second, there's been drama.
Yep.
Because internet's gone full internet. Because that's how
Fanboys have gone all fangirl.
Yeah. Big time. But we wanted to start with... So it became official last week that the Disney acquisition of 21st Century Fox is it's the Thursday. They announced it. Joint statement.
Yeah. I mean, it's still got to go through the whatever FCC or
the whatever
regulatory.
18 months or something like that from now will be official like the official. The number that was placed on the buying of said company was $52.4 billion with a B $1 million. Billion, gadillion, facillion, dollars. Which I find interesting because the number that was being thrown around was 60 plus, and Comcast. The rumor was Comcast offered $55 billion.
I don't know. Maybe there's something else that we don't know about.
I don't know. I don't. It's the only stipulations that I heard that really is 21st Century Fox actually wants Bob Iger to stay on as the head of Disney until 2021. He was trying to phase out. And there was discussions for a while that Disney was going to buy Netflix, and then they would have the Netflix CEO be the new Disney CEO, but that apparently is not going to happen now.
Right. And every female or man dressed as a female that was in a Fox production now thinks they're a Disney princess.
Yes. It's been awesome. Everybody's like, does this make me a Disney princess? Or a Disney queen? We'll get to him in a minute. But the other thing that was kind of interesting, now there's been all the talk about, they own all the Marvel X-Men stuff now and Fantastic Four, and are we going to get, Logan or Wolverine and Infinity War?
Well, and so Fantastic Four not?
So I got some clarification on all of that.
Okay.
So there Candlebox, is that what they're called? Or Candy? It was something like that. Own the rights to make Fantastic Four. So they can make it for $15, $20 million, $400 million, however they want to spend it, and show it to the friends because they don't have the rights to distribute it.
Oh, okay.
So whatever happens with the Fantastic Four will be a partnership with that company.
Right. Or do they just try to sell it to Disney too?
Right now, since Disney's checkbook is out, I would write me a check.
I'd like $1 billion, please.
Yeah. I don't think that will happen. I think the company who has a distribution right or the production rights to it is going to hitch their wagon to that Disney Marvel cart and just kind of be pulled along for a little while.
It's been a dumpster fire from go
with the Fantastic Four. Yeah.
So,
and I think that's part of the reason why they want to make. If they keep the rights to make it, they'll get a lot more out of it once it gets inside the Marvel. Like what Sony did with Spider-Man, they co-distributed it.
yeah.
And even though it's a Marvel movie within the MCU, it's still a Sony production. So Sony just hitched their wagon to that train and made a bunch of money.
Maybe.
But so outside of all the big stuff or whatever, there's been two things that kind of sort of gone underneath the radar. One was the two production companies in Europe that Disney gets in this deal, Sky and I can't remember the other one. But now they can start consolidating their production groups in the UK and in Europe, and those also have distribution rights within those countries. So you broaden your horizon of the Disney stuff. But I think the big one that really nobody's talking about is they own the control of Hulu now.
Oh.
And that is a big deal because in 2019 they want to do that Disney On Demand or Disney Hulu Netflix channel.
Right.
Which is going to have everything that Disney owns can be in that thing. So that's all the Sony's, all the 21st Century stuff too.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to add it on to Hulu instead of making another channel just as a premium Hulu package or something.
That was my initial thought. Or they just change it. They just change Hulu to Disney Online or something like that.
I mean, Hulu has its place, right? Because it shows TV shows, so you don't have to buy cable.
Yeah. And they're doing some good stuff on Hulu right now. You watched what was the one with?
I haven't watched anything on Hulu because we don't have Hulu.
What am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking about the Amazon show. Amazon shows you were just watching. Anyways, I thought we had Hulu.
No.
We want Hulu because Future Man's on there and that Stephen King universe show from Derry is in there.
Right. And Handmaid's Tale is on there.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But it's kind of redundant for us because we have Voo, so we don't need all the channels.
Right.
We already get that.
Right. But that's just interesting that I love the internet. We're going to talk about the internet a lot today. The internet, what does this mean for the future? We're not going to get any R-rated Deadpool movies and no R-rated X-Men movies and all the stuff that 21st Century Fox was putting out. It's never going to happen ever again. And Bob Iger came out and said, we just bought the company. We're still trying to figure out what we're doing.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about.
I mean, Deadpool is a cash cow. They're not gonna. It's not like Disney's never put out a rated R movie before. They have.
It's
so.
And the history of Disney, corporate wise, is they're going to do whatever brings in a bunch of money. And so if you have a formula that's working, they're going to continue doing that.
Yep.
So, talk about production companies who have been killing it lately. A24 has got Lady Bird and if you name the list that's not Shape of Water or Dunkirk in the Oscar conversation right now, A24 is attached to it, right? But one of the ones they just released that we went and finally saw was The Disaster Artist.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark, which is the other thing. So we've been running around singing Laura Dern, and then every once in a while we just stop and go, oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I did not hit her. I did not.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, my God. Okay, so Disaster Artist is about the making of The Room. It's about Tommy Wiseau and his best friend, how they met, how they moved to Los Angeles, how they couldn't get jobs in acting, and so they said to hell with it all, hired some production guys, and Tommy wrote a movie, and he was a director and the producer and the star and everything, and the train wreck that was the filming of this movie, and then the train wreck that was the movie. and this story is about Tommy and how he went through everything as his best friend. It's kind of it's a movie about friendship, and not necessarily about making a movie.
Yeah, and about, doing your dream, getting, just even though everybody tells you no, just going and doing it.
Just doing it anyways.
Yeah. Now it helps that Tommy had some bottomless pit of a bank account that because what did they say? It's rumored that he spent $6 million making this movie.
Yeah.
Because in the Disaster Artist, he doesn't just rent the camera equipment, he buys it.
Yeah.
And not just digital or film, he does it in both, which at the time, that wasn't really something like today.
Right.
People do it in like IMAX and
right,
HD or whatever.
Right.
But and for a little tiny movie, it'd never been heard of. So, for some of us who don't have millions and millions of dollars, just doing your dream kind of maybe doesn't work all the time.
Right. So I really love this movie. I mean, I really love this movie.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it again, whether it's in the movie theater or we buy it or whatever. I had a hard time watching it because of Tommy's personality and my personality. He made me very angsty. Like I just wanted to. I don't know.
Yeah. He comes across
slap him.
he comes across almost naive.
Yeah.
And then almost like a creeper. But once you kind of get to know, at least the way they portrayed him, and from everything I've read, this is kind of just how he is.
Who he is, yeah.
Once you kind of get to know him, you realize he's just a nice guy who wants to be loved. It essentially is what it is.
Yeah. And I mean, he's definitely naive because, again, he spent $6 million on this movie and thought it was the best thing since sliced bread, and it, was laughed at. It's like
it's widely considered the worst movie ever made.
Yes. And it's
next to movie 43.
Which somehow had less people see it, except that The Room only made like $1,800 in.
It showed like
in two theaters
for like a week
to get it qualified for the Oscars.
And I think Tommy paid for the screen time. I think is
because it only made like $1,800.
Yeah.
Somehow that other movie made less. I don't even know how that's possible. But he just. I just wanted to scream at him. How can you be this dumb, But there's this whole mystery. I'm like, afterwards, because still this movie was made, 15 years ago? It was like the 90s?
The early 2000s,
was it
something
early
like that.
2000s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, it's still... talked about and seen, and
they do like midnight showings, like Rocky Horror kind of thing, and, yeah.
And there's this whole like cult following, and people want to know because nobody really knows anything about this person, Tommy Wiseau. They don't know where he's from. He says he's from New Orleans, but he sounds like he's got some kind of Eastern European accent.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where he's got his money from. Although the rumor is he made it selling, what did I say, Chinese leather jackets?
Yeah.
Or Taiwanese leather jackets.
Yeah, something like that.
Nobody knows how old he is, and it's this whole...
And they address that in The Disaster Artist. So they make a point.
They ask him, where'd you get your money from?
Yeah.
Where are you from? Multiple times they asked him where he was from. And you get sucked into that. Like, for days afterwards, I was like... Where is he from? Where did he get his money from? I need to know this. It's crazy.
James Franco is going to get a nomination. He already has for the Golden Globes for Disaster Artist.
Him and Dave Franco were awesome.
They were both really, really, really good. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets Oscar nominations for this, because they have a scene with Tommy. At like post-credit scene, and it's James Franco as Tommy, and then Tommy as somebody else, but it's still Tommy. And there's this interaction between the two of them, and you have a hard time kind of realizing who is which and who is what and whatever. And then I've seen a bunch of photos and like interviews with the real Tommy Wiseau, and Franco like has got his movements down and his cadence of talking and his accent and like the way his face structure is very similar to Tommy's, and it's
well, and they show shot for shot, not the after scene or after credit scene, but the like during the credits, right?
Yeah.
They show shot for shot of the room, and then that same shot in the Disaster Artist, and they are exact.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh my gosh.
It's almost like when they made Disaster Artist, they decided to film the room at the same time. It's what it looks like they did. It's so well done. For a movie that a lot of people probably didn't even really know about, The Room at least. And then the trailer came out for Disaster Artist, and everybody was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And it's just
I want to see Tommy Wiseau at the Oscars.
This is where I
you get up on stage and go, oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Like the red carpet, and he comes out in one of those like freaking pirate captain coats and all of the belts. He's got to have like his
3 belts and his keychain that's got a million keys on it. They go from San Francisco, and he's got this nice car. And did they show his apartment in San Francisco? I don't remember. And he's like,
yeah, they did. He held the keys. And he's like, I think it's this one. And he opens it. That was the apartment in San Francisco. Yeah.
And then he's like, let's go to L.A. to Dave Franco's character, which was Greg. Is that what his name is? Greg or Gary? Greg. And because we want to be actors. And he's like 19 or whatever. He's like, dude, I can't go. You know, what are we going to do for money? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. I got a place to stay. And they go, and he pulls out this key ring again. And they go into this super nice apartment in L.A.
overlooking downtown.
Yeah. And he's like, what? You have this apartment? He's like, yeah, I don't stay here.
There's a pile of mail.
They have to shove the door open.
Yeah. It's just so well done. I love movies like this that tell stories of stuff that you never knew about, and then you find out about it, and then now we're like she said, we've been going.
I need to know.
I need to know more about this. It's so cool. This is so well done. I would give it 8.5.
That's where I was.
Yeah. 8.5. Yeah. So we'll add that on to the list for next week's show, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it's doing okay in the theaters. It's never going to make a whole lot of money. It's definitely an Oscar bait movie, but go see it. This is one of those, you're going to laugh at it. You're going to cry a little bit. You're going to be a little uncomfortable. You're going to want to punch Tommy a bunch of times. Yeah. It's a fun, awesome movie. When we went to see it, we went to the Regal Cinema down the street from our house. And there was 4 people in the theater, and a theater that holds like 200 people.
It's a giant theater.
Yeah, and it was before the Last Jedi stuff happened. So
yeah, we came home and we're looking for shirts. The oh hi Mark, and then the you're killing me, Lisa. So we're gonna have to buy them.
We have to go shopping after December 26th. I think we might be on
all the sales.
There's some after Christmas T-shirt sales, right? So we talked about it. Last Jedi happened this weekend. It opened $220 million in 3 days and 2 showings.
Domestically.
230 globally. I don't think it opened everywhere too. 450 in 3 days. Justice League is a bomb. Justice League just got to 219 after this weekend's box office.
But it's like...
been out 5 weeks.
Yeah, but it's like 7 or something worldwide.
It's 700 or something like that.
700 million?
Yeah. Star Wars will pass that by next week.
Oh, yeah, probably.
We went and saw it on Friday. We did a spoiler review, and we did a non-spoiler review. Talked about it for a few minutes. We didn't want to spoil anything. We're not going to do that here. And then we did a full spoiler review. I will tag that onto the bottom, the backside of this video. Really hard to talk about this movie without talking about the spoilers and stuff like that. So we're going to try to avoid that part here. But what we do want to talk about is the division of hate that's going on the internet right now. There is a lot of talk about this being one of the worst Star Wars movies ever made.
It's either the worst or one of the best.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
two very divided camps.
We did talk about this. It is a very different Star Wars movie. And that's I think what a lot of people are struggling with is that Rian Johnson made a movie that is completely outside the norm, outside the comfort zone of a lot of Star Wars fans, and that's not sitting well with a lot of Star Wars fans.
Yeah. So one of the things that John Schnuff said today, and I was like, they trolled us before we even knew we were being like months before we knew we were being trolled, when Luke says,
this isn't going to go the way
go the way you thought it was. Yes. It was like, oh my God, they totally trolled us.
Yeah. And they've been kind of setting that they've been kind of setting that up for a while with this is gonna be outside what you're gonna be comfortable with, and they've been doing with it with Rebels too, and then some of the comics and some of the other like Star Wars canon books about this moving away from the old totems that is Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
I get it. I mean, there's a lot of talk out there, and I was watching Screen Junkies today, and I don't remember who it was that was saying it because I wasn't really watching. I was actually listening because I listened to it while I'm working. That and I completely agree with this. I get that they needed to move away from things,
right?
Because you can't keep telling the same stories over and over again, as was evident with Force Awakens, where everybody was complaining that it was just a retelling of New Hope. Han Solo. Well, the actors in the original ones are getting older, and Carrie Fisher isn't with us anymore, and they may not be able to be around for the next 10 years or whatever, or be able to continue to play their part. I get all that. But one of the things they were talking about was it just felt a little like screw you to some of the more faithful fans. And I kind of agree with some of that. There's some spots where they didn't have to make it maybe quite so in your face.
Yeah. I can see that. There's a 3-hour version of this movie out there. We just watched a video saying that the Blu-ray will have 20 minutes of deleted scenes, and I think that some of that will actually help ease there, be a little more setup with things instead of just having it be ripping the Band-Aid off kind of thing, which is I think what you're kind of maybe saying a little bit is that there was now real like easing into it. It was fuck it, let's just do it and rip it off kind of.
Yeah, there's just, I mean, we can't really talk about it without talking about things that happened.
Yeah.
But there are some things that happen that are symbolic of what's about to happen or what's happening that, I even said that, one of them felt very irreverent. And that's kind of what they're talking about.
I get that.
You could have, it's more of a slap in the face to these people. There are people out there who do weekly shows just like this, and all they talk about is Star Wars.
I watch a couple of them.
And yeah. And and fan theory, and I mean, this is a big deal to them.
Yeah.
And it's there's some places where it doesn't feel like, it feels like maybe they just like, I don't care about you. This is the direction that we're going.
Yeah, I get that. I can get that opinion. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to like it either, but I get how you can get to that point. And so there has been a petition started online to remove this movie from canon, to make it a standalone. Let's make another episode 8 and move forward.
Is that the same person that started the petition to have J.J. Abrams removed from 9?
Probably.
And so now they're like, oh wait, we love you, J.J. Abrams. Come back. Come back. Rian Johnson out. J.J. Abrams in. Shut up.
One of my favorite things that I've seen all weekend, it was actually a meme on Saturday when everything kind of started blowing up, and it was something, whatever, and it was fanboys bitched that Force Awakens was too much like the old Star Wars, and it was like 2017 fanboys complain about that it's too different of a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, and there's multiple shows that I listened to today, like all of them said you cannot win. You cannot win.
Yeah,
I mean, and we kind of joked about this, like Ron Howard's out there going, I'm screwed. I'm screwed. Yeah. No one's ever gonna, hire me to do. Yeah, no.
They're gonna hire.
They'll hire him again. But
if actually Ron Howard is probably in the best position of any Star Wars director, current or in the future, because if he comes in and Han Solo's half as good as people wish it was, he's gonna be fine because he saved the movie.
Yeah.
If it's a train wreck, it doesn't matter because he couldn't save it because they couldn't refilm the whole movie.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's kind of the one person.
If it's good, he can say it was all me, and if it was terrible, he could say it was.
Yeah, we did everything we could. I swear. Yeah. I swear. I did not hit her. So I really liked the movie. We're gonna try to go see it again either tomorrow or Wednesday. And then we get our grandson for a couple days before the holiday this weekend, and only time he gets to see movies is when he comes and stays at our house. And so we're gonna go take him to see Star Wars. And I think after a couple more viewings, my opinion will change a little bit. It's already kind of changed a little bit as I've kind of moved on with my thought process and everything. Yeah. And I think
mine is definitely softened, but I still have my concerns.
I do too. There's one particular part that I'm really not happy with, and it's not that one. So I sometimes storytellers get lost. Let's put it that way.
And I thought about it today. We did not talk about in our spoiler or non-spoiler review that I have to talk about here, the best space destroying of a ship in space ever.
There's ever? I don't want to talk about the scene. I do want to talk about the visual of the scene. The sound of the scene, because one of the complaints about some of the stuff is disbelief of physics. Pretty much is what people are complaining about. Except there's no sound in space, and so all the Star Wars movies have had. You could hear the TIE fighters wing by and the pew 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 and the explosions and all that stuff. Right. So you disbelieve that, but the other stuff you can't. That's like Game of Thrones. Where the chain come from, but there's dragons and the army of the undead and a 300-foot tall wall.
And the chain is what you're worried about.
Right, it's the same exact conversation. So in that scene, though, there's no sound, and it's all black and white.
Yeah, and it's
amazing.
There was no sound for so long that I was like, is there something wrong? I thought that there was something wrong with the movie.
Yeah, it's so. There's 2 shots in this movie that I want as a screensaver, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
And I know you know what the other one is.
Yes.
Wow. Just freaking just flip the robe and just go, and then It's freaking good and the bad and the ugly and freaking gorilla walkers. We're going to move on, or we're going to talk about Star Wars the rest of the night and spoil the shit out of it. The rest of the box office this weekend, Justice League still in the top 5. Wonder is still in the top 5, doing really well. Coco made $9 million, almost $10 million. That's pretty good. But Ferdinand was the one that was kind of counter-programming for Star Wars. The thought process was, let's put out a kid kind of friendly movie.
I don't know what they were thinking.
And they spent $100 million and had John Cena playing the bull. I'm actually a little interested in see what it's like because John Cena's in it. He's the voice of the bull. But this is why Fox got sold, is because they were making decisions like this, and their movie production is just getting crushed. We're gonna move on because like I said, we're gonna do Star Wars for an hour, or 2 hours, like Late to the Party did.
You need to let that shit go.
No, it was awesome. We need to do like a 4-hour with cocktails and bathroom breaks kind of talk. I think we're doing that Thursday, aren't we? Aren't we going to the Harp on Thursday and have a powwow? We're going to go to an Irish pub and sit around talking about Star Wars. A teaser trailer came out for Ocean's 8 today, with the full trailer coming tomorrow. And I will plan on doing the trailer reaction when I get home from my employment tomorrow. However, I'm going to make this known. Ocean's 11 is one of my all-time favorite movies. The new one, the Ocean's 11, 12 doesn't exist, 13. Heist movies. I love heist movies. It's Vegas. Love Vegas.
The old one's good, too.
The old one's good because...
Ocean's 11.
That one's good because they actually filmed during the day, then went home, showered, partied all night.
Well,
and
not really home. They went back to the hotel.
They partied and performed all night till 3, 4, 5, 7 in the morning. They go back to the room and sleep till 2, and then the people shooting the movie had to like wrangle them all back together and put them. So there's only one scene where they're actually all in the movie together in the original Ocean's 11 because they couldn't get them all sober or not hungover in a scene together. So but they're doing Ocean's 8, and this is the all girls version of Ocean's 11, and I've been very... We've talked about this on the show before. I don't see the purpose of going back and remaking everything the all-girl version or the all-black version or the all-white version or the all-Asian version. I just... If it makes sense for the story, cool, let's do a version like that, but I don't want them to just go back and remake all of it to be politically correct. That was my concern with this one. It looks kind of cool with the little 15-second teaser trailer we got.
It looks kind of cool. My big thing is, why do we need to call it Ocean's blah, blah, blah? The girl version, right? I mean, if it's a heist movie and it's all girls, cool. Call it something else.
Well, it's in that universe. It's in the this is so strange thing. It's in the Ocean's 11 universe, and I think Sandra Bullock is Danny Ocean's sister or cousin or something like that. And so there's that connective tissue, and there was rumors that George Clooney and or Matt Damon were going to show up in the movie as like Chris Hemsworth and Ghostbusters, the all girl version.
Was it Soderbergh that did?
Yes, that did the Ocean's 11 Ocean's
so
movies.
Is he doing this one too?
He is not doing this one. Okay. So again, but we'll see what the trailer looks like. My opinion will probably change 6 times between now and we go see the movie because we have the movie pass. Punisher, we finished Punisher. We talked about it a bunch on the show. It's amazing. It got a season 2. Of course. Like it wasn't going to get a season 2.
If Iron Fist got to season 2,
right, exactly. I'm just interested in where they're going to go. Like, how are they going to move the story forward?
Right. Yeah, because it kind of wrapped it up.
Right. So is he just now a gun for hire? That would be a kind of an interesting thing, especially if he is working with the Defenders in some shape or form or whatever. That would be kind of... I have my Daredevil shirt on tonight, but I would be just interested to see how they're going to do that. So we'll go forward with that. Okay, so last thing we want to talk about is Phoenix Comic-Con. I know most of you don't care, but we're going to talk about Phoenix Comic-Con.
But we do.
But we do. we keep talking about Phoenix Comic-Con, and with all the issues we had last few years, the celebrity attendance has not been what we had hoped, at least. So we're getting William Shatner, and we're getting the Guardians of the Galaxy group, and all this other stuff. So it came out last week that we're getting Manu Bennett from Arrow. He plays Deathstroke, and he was Arg, from the Hobbit movies. The orc with the hook for a hand. Is it Arg?
Sure. I don't remember what his name
can't remember. Og the Defiler, something like that. Anyways, so Manu's coming, and I'm actually really excited because I like Manu.
Yeah,
he's really a cool guy. Yeah. He's it's going to sound so bad, but this is about the only way I can explain it. He's the poor man's Aquaman.
Oh, Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. Thank you. He's the poor man's Jason Momoa. He travels the world. He's very good looking. He gets to kind of throw axes and drink beer, that kind of thing. But he's not in a big DC movie. Like that's the way I look at him. And he's just a kind of I follow him on Facebook, and he's just a cool, down to earth kind of guy.
Yeah.
We're getting Will Wheaton. We've been trying for
Wheaton.
I have been trying for 5 years. Whenever I get on the Phoenix Comic-Con survey thing or fan suggestions, I always put in Mark Hamill, Borman, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Adam Savage, Will Wheaton, Felicia Day. I there's always this small group of people, and then I always throw in one random one,
Manu Bennett.
And Manu Bennett, right. So we're getting Will Wheaton. I'm super excited about
Wesley.
it. We have to go watch a bunch more. I have to go back and rewatch some, but his tabletop game series, his show series on the Nerdist channel.
And he had that show for one season.
The Will Wheaton Project.
Which was amazing.
Good. It was talk soup, but with nerd culture stuff.
Yeah. And the guy from
Skeletor.
Skeletor
reading live tweets was just every once in a while I get on Twitter and I'm like, can we bring Skeletor back to do live tweets? But we've been trying. Will Wheaton is just a cool guy, and I'm willing to bet that he'll be doing some gaming thing, some tabletop gaming thing.
Yeah,
while he's
probably,
here.
yeah.
And that would be kind of cool. Phoenix Comic-Con is making a concerted effort of bringing in people that A, we want to see, but B, they're already advertising. They're doing the roast of William Shatner. They're doing comedy hour, Star Trek comedy hour. They're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy scavenger hunt. They're setting all this stuff up already, and it's not until Memorial Day weekend, which is 6 months away.
And usually we're not hearing anything. I mean, tickets would be on sale right now, but if we're hearing any guests, it's writers and comic book artists. And
we've been getting those too, but
no big names, and they out the door, out the chute.
The first week they did David Bautista, Michael Rooker, Sean Gunn as a group, Shatner, David Fuckstick,
Green
Power Ranger. And then the girl who's Queen Elizabeth in Reign, whose name is escaping me right now, was the other person. That's how they announced the week. Bang! Oh, by the way, rooms are available. And then they've been adding at least one writer, comic book writer or book writer, and one known actor since. And they're going. I mean, they're doing. And I wouldn't be surprised if January they'd drop another Mark Hamill kind of bang here.
Yeah, big name.
But today, they did something. I actually had to go reread it 3 times and then show it to her.
And then he showed it to me.
And I said, what does this say? We are getting Tim Curry. Now, Tim Curry doesn't do the con circuit.
Yeah.
Tim Curry, he was in the live Rocky Horror Abomination TV show that they did.
Yeah.
As Dr. Scott. Which was awesome. But he's been
He was Dr. Scott?
Yeah.
Dr. Scott.
He was where's your fucking neck?
Yeah.
That's Dr. Scott, right?
Yeah. Was that who he was? He wasn't Frankenfurter? He was...
No.
Oh.
Because he's been... I think he had a stroke.
Yeah.
And so he's been in a wheelchair, but he was actually in the show as is, that part's cool. And that's how he kind of gave his blessing too. It was like, I'll give you my blessing if I get to be in it. No, that's not how he said, but but he doesn't do the concert. He doesn't travel. He doesn't do this stuff. So A, he's healthy enough to do it, but B, he's coming fucking here. I love Tim Curry. Oh my God.
And we better have, was it 2 years ago? We had,
Can we do live Clue?
Oh. See, maybe we should do Clue instead of Rocky Horror Picture Show. So like 2 years ago, we had Barry Bosworth, the girl that plays Magenta, and the girl that plays the other.
Yeah, you're gonna ask me, and I cannot remember right now.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. The two girls and Barry Bosworth, Brad, and they were pretty hammered, and
I'm pretty sure they rolled out of bed drinking it, because everybody said they went to the booth, like they had like champagne in the booths and they were having a good time,
and this was
which is cool. I mean, I don't know,
8 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
they did a little bit of a Q&A thing and then showed the movie Rocky Horror Picture Show, and they had was it the Phoenix Rocky Horror Troupe or whatever, and they acted out some scenes, and then you had Rocky Horror clubs from all over in the audience, and it was very cool to see, like, everybody had different things that they did, right? So they throw toast and where's your fucking neck, and the squirt bottles when it's raining, and the lighter for there's a light, but they were all just a little bit different, so it was really cool. And then we've probably told the story before, but everyone, there's like 1,000 people in there.
Oh, it was more than that. It was like half that room was full.
So 1,500 doing the time warp, and we couldn't stop laughing. We're like trying to do the time warp and then just laughing hysterically because
everybody was in front of us. We sat in the back.
1,500 people doing the time warp at the same time. Yeah. So it would be awesome if we could do something like that again. That was a good time.
I'm just. That's one of those, like Dick Van Dyke last year was like completely out of left field. We're like, Dick Van Dyke?
Yeah.
And then this year is like Tim Curry, and they didn't bring up Dick Van Dyke until like middle of May.
Beginning of May.
Of May. It was
close.
It was pretty close to when our con is Memorial Day weekend, and so it was that time period.
Yeah.
And but now it's freaking December.
Tim Curry makes more sense to me than Dick Van Dyke.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's pretty awesome. I'm excited. I'm wondering if they're going to do the seat lottery for some of the big panels, like with Shatner and stuff like that they did with
maybe.
It might be worth it to try to get in the lottery, at least for a couple of them, and hotel rooms. There's an ongoing argument in our house. So what did you guys think of this week's episode? Please like this video and leave us a comment on The Last Jedi. Did you see The Disaster Artist? How do you feel about Disney buying the world? And then everything else that we kind of talked about, Phoenix Comic-Con, all that kind of things. Please let us know what you thought. Leave us a comment and share with all of your friends about what we're doing here at the Pop Culture Cult, talking about all the things in the movie and TV and cons and everything else. Next week, we have 2 shows that we will be obviously doing. One is the Christmas special review of Doctor Who. We are super excited. I have done a really good job of not watching anything else other than the one trailer that they did, and I've said it before. I'm going to cry. And then the other one that
Christmas
we will
episode. You have to cry.
Yeah, exactly. If River Song shows up, I'm just and then the other episode that we're going to do next week will be our top 10 movies of 2017. It might be maybe more like 13 or 14, but we'll work it out. But we will do a top 10 list of our favorite movies individually and talk about them a little bit and with our scores and everything. And just to give you a heads up, it's our favorite movies of the year, not our top movies of the year.
sure those aren't the same thing?
I would probably put one movie a little higher than the other because it was probably better done, but it maybe not being one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
So,
and we're going to do that on Tuesday?
Probably Tuesday, yeah.
We'll do the Doctor Who thing on Monday.
Right after the episode's done. And then we'll probably get the East Coast feed and try to do it as soon as we can. And then we'll do the Tuesday show, and then we'll go celebrate the new year, and then maybe we need to have a team meeting. So.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I'm having ideas about things how we can expand our brand, which is what you guys need to do. Share the Pop Culture Cult on Facebook at the Pop Culture Cult. Share the Pop Culture Cult on Instagram, Pop Culture Cult 1, and on Twitter, Pop_Cult 1. Share with all of your friends. Let's expand this group of people talking about movies and TVs and cons and whatever else we feel like talking about every week, mostly movies. And also follow us on the Stardust app. Download the app for free. You can react for 30 seconds about everything that you're watching. Trailers, TV shows, movies, whatever it is that you want to talk about. The Grand Tour, which we didn't get into this week. But follow us first, and then go follow all your friends. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Mark.
Bye, Mark.
Bye, Mark.